Hello, BookTube. I've got a little mail for you today on an absolutely dark day. For 1 minute, literally 60 seconds on the clock, the sun came out today. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know who wasn't paid up in their dues, but otherwise, you wouldn't believe how early in the day it is. I've got every light in the place on. I've got the window unblocked and blasting in as much light as possible, and it's still as dank and gloomy as a dungeon in these videos. Nothing I can do about that. We haven't had any sunlight here in quite some time. I had 4 houseplants. 2 of them were hanging by a thread anyway, and they just gave up the ghost. 2 of them gave up the ghost. They just said, enough of this. And that grieved me a bit because I read Planta Sapiens last year, and that made me think these things are all Rhodes Scholars. 2 of them are still hanging on, but I'm doing the best I can with the lighting here. So we're going to go through the mail, starting with a new issue of the New Yorker. Rather lovely thing. Family gathering for Lunar New Year. This has lots of stuff in it. I'm sure I haven't read everything in it, but I'm sure that I will. But I went straight away to the book review. There's a long book review of a new book that I myself have reviewed. A new biography of Margaret Cavendish called Pure Wit by Francesca Peacock. And it's reviewed here by Merve Emre, and I wanted immediately to know what she thought of it. You know, when it's a natural butterfly in the stomach moment when someone else reviews a book that you've reviewed. I reviewed Pure Wit for Open Letters, and you wonder, are they going to see things that you didn't see? And you're going to have to dig a while to get at that when it's a New Yorker review, because the New Yorker is very much in the school of, let's discuss the subject. And oh, by the way, I'll mention the book, which is the opposite of how I do book reviewing. So I had to dig in a little to the juicy roll center of this review to get what Merve Emre thought of this book. And the words that we get are diligent and measured. To read Francesca Peacock's diligent and measured biography of Cavendish is to become aware of how little one can confidently claim to know about her. You might not believe it because maybe you're not all that familiar with the jargon of book reviewing, but diligent and measured means that the reviewer thought the book was boring. I didn't think the book was boring. I thought it had its flaws, though, but coming away from it mainly thinking, boy, how little we know about the subject was not one of the reactions that I had. So it was interesting to do. When I'm done, I will cut and trim the review. I will date it if the trimming carves off the review, the date at the bottom of the page, and I will stick it in my copy of Pure Wit. But my copy of Pure Wit came a long time ago, so that will not be. We've got 2 packages here to look at. I got a couple of very good pieces of news on the book reviewing front today. I imagine the fruits of them will be visible down the line. It's very nice to know that the book reviewing world is still trickling along. There's still plenty of life in it. Some of you may watch Thomas's channel, SFF 180, the best science fiction fantasy channel on BookTube, in my opinion, certainly one of the oldest ones. For years and years, Thomas had a regular feature on his channel called Mailbag Monday, where he would wait all week. He didn't do what I did, didn't open his mail every day. Instead, he would wait, let it pile up, and then open all of his review copies. Incredibly known in the science fiction world, plugged into every house, big and small. So he would wait until Monday and then open it all and talk about it all. It's an entirely more professional approach than mine. He didn't take you through wrestling with the packages, and he put any information that needed to go up on the screen. And he mentioned he did a Mailbag Monday just the other day on his channel, first time in a while, and mentioned that the reason it's been a first time in a while is because things are just different. I know that sounds like just a defeatist rubric, but it's true. COVID changed this whole system. Before COVID, every science fiction fantasy publisher in the Western world was just routinely sending him everything. Don't bother to ask him if he wants it. Don't ask him if he, don't see if he asks for it, pretty please, or anything like that. Just send him everything. And I was the same way, as you know, if you watch this channel for years and years. Publishers they send everything. The rare example, the rare occasion when I had to ask for something, it was an oversight. Otherwise, I got everything that I wanted, more than I could possibly review. And that all changed with COVID. Suddenly, there wasn't anybody in the offices of the publishers, and even if there wasn't anybody down on the loading dock. No one was at work. All of a sudden, it became e-copies, e-galleys, electronic galleys, which publishers had always suggested. For years before COVID, publisher would say, I'll be sending along a copy of the book, and I'm attaching to this email a copy of the ebook, the e-galley. I ignored it. And all those emails just routinely ignored it. I waited for the book. I didn't even think about it. But then it was the only game in town, and the publishing industry noticed something that you may have noticed yourself, which is that the New York Review of Books, the New York Times Book Review, the LA Times book reviews back when they had a book review staff, the London Review of Books, the Times Literary Supplement did not stop. They did not go out of business during COVID because they still had access to review copies. They were just either stuff that was lying around the office or smaller houses that maybe were still sending things out, or all those e-galleys. The publishing world suddenly realized we don't need to keep doing this. We don't need to keep shifting hundreds and thousands of tons of product every month on speculation. And that was true, of course. Those of us who are in the book reviewing world kept reviewing books the whole time. But in my heart, I kind of hoped that things would bounce back to their old way once COVID was under control, once you weren't hearing horror stories. And that didn't happen. And I'm obviously, if you watch Thomas's channel, you know I'm not the only one who's saying that. That didn't happen. So we've got two books to look at here, but let's take a look and hope maybe it'll be two really good ones. That would be wonderful. I have some prospects for stuff that's coming that is really going to be good. Let's see here. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, I don't know this book, but I know this author, and I love this author. Okay, so this comes out in late May. This is Alan Taylor, and this is American Civil Wars, A Continental History, 1850 to 1873. So you're getting the capital C, capital W Civil War there, but you're getting other civil wars, obviously, as well. Reconstruction is probably the heart of this thing. Let's see here. Oh, now what have you got here? Oh, this little sheet has only blurbs on it. Okay, all right, let's read the back. In a beautifully crafted narrative of soaring ideals and sordid politics, of civil war and foreign invasion, Alan Taylor presents a pivotal 20-year period in which the United States, Mexico, and Canada all transformed themselves into nations. The American Civil War stands at the center of the story, its military dimension and the drama of emancipation the focus. An American West and its native peoples feature prominently, with fascinating detail on California and the Southwest borderlands. The instability in the United States shakes the continent. It invites a French invasion of Mexico that fuels long-standing hostilities between conservative and liberal forces. In Canada, it raises the urgency of a continental confederation to manage the differences of francophones and anglophones. The vivid character portraits throughout are indelible, from Lincoln, Jefferson Davis, and the great liberal leader Benito Juarez, to key black abolitionists such as Martin Delany and Mary Ann Shadd. It's not a very big thing for all that. That description, you would think this was 1,000 pages long. But it's not. Oh, well, maybe it is. Okay. The small print, the details about the book say that this is going to be 600 pages long. Almost 700 pages long. I certainly don't see that here. Is this the whole thing? No, this tops out at 500. Well, I don't know. There's a discrepancy there that I imagine will sort itself out by the spring. I don't have to worry about this right away, but I love this author, so I wouldn't miss the book. And then we have our next and last one. This is a finished copy of... Oh goodness gracious. Okay, all right. This is the finished copy of something that we've already seen. I was not expecting this. The finished copy is something. Wow. Okay, all right. This is from Liverite, an imprint of W.W. Norton. This we've already seen. This is M.A.R. Habib and Bruce Lawrence. This is a new translation of the Quran. We saw the advanced copy, which didn't look like anything special at all. This does. This is... I want to show you what this is like. First of all, it's a very somber black dust jacket with just a single story on the back. No summary necessary, no advanced blurbs, nothing like that. But it's also got a physical design that is just amazing. I don't know if you can make that out. That's a colored pattern in the middle of a die-cut hole in the dust jacket. If you slide the dust jacket off, this is the naked hardcover. Amazing. Just amazing. How amazing. Okay, so best case scenario would be if Liverwrite, when it gets a paperback edition, because this certainly will, this will sell enough to get a paperback edition. Best case scenario, the paperback is the design of the naked hardcover rather than being black. Fine for the dust jacket to be this way, but that design on the inside is too pretty to waste. Really hoping I will put my my 2 cents in to make sure that the folks at Liverwrite keep that design for the paperback. That no tradition or law at all that says that your Quran can't be blindingly colorful. But I don't have a pub sheet for this. This must have come straight from a warehouse, but we'll see. It scarcely needs an introduction, but let's see what this says. So the tagline here is Islam's founding text rendered for the first time in flowing English verse. This is verse that I opened to the night journey. That was not intentional here, but let's see what we have here. This monumental feat of translation, the product of a 10-year-long collaboration between one of the most respected scholars of Islam and a poet and scholar of literature, offers readers for the first rendering into English to echo in accessible and fluent verse the sonorous beauty of the Arabic original, as well as the complex nuances of its meaning. Those familiar with the Quran in Arabic, especially the faithful who each day hear the text recited aloud, know that it is a sublime blend of sound and sense, music and meaning. Yes, I had an old friend, did quite a bit to save my life, who told me that without the sound, there's no point. He said, I trust that I'm not being blasphemous, but I cannot imagine merely reading the Quran. So I don't know what a book is going to be able to do. I wonder if something like this has an audiobook. I would assume that no commercial enterprise would make an audiobook of the Quran. While no translation can perfectly capture the inimitable virtues of the original, these 2 translators have come closest to a readable, clear, and fluid English Quran that all readers, regardless of their faith or familiarity with the text, can read with pleasure, gaining a deeper appreciation of the book and the religion's tradition it inspired. Well, and with a cut cover like this, you're obviously going to want to take the dust jacket off to read this. Otherwise, you'll rip that instantly, or I will anyway. Okay. There are also extensive notes, which I know that's going to be the question on a lot of your minds. But you don't just get that verse translation; you get extensive notes as well, and a long introduction and a long note on translation. Okay, fantastic. All right, well, I now have a finished copy of this. Great. So those are our 2 books, history and literature. So that's our mail haul for today. An absolutely lightless day. We got rid of that massive storm of sleet and snow that created first a wet covering on the ground, then an icy covering on the ground, then a partially icy covering on the ground. So it was a nightmare. For a few days, it was a nightmare. Neither Frida nor I could keep our feet when we were walking. We didn't want to be outside either. Who wants slush accumulating on your feet? That's all gone. But, I mean, today is February 1st, and Boston is deep, deep in the tropics. We should be done with winter weather by now. But we've still got this iron sky up above. But the lighting's good enough. You don't come here to gaze on my beauty. So there you go. Those are our 2 books for today. It's early enough so that more mail might come, but I won't open it. I'm reminding myself as much as I'm reminding you. I won't open it. I will put it aside. We'll open everything tomorrow. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.